In today's episode, UCTV focuses on the priesthood of the late Pope Francis Bergoglio at an Argentine seminary where he studied for priesthood in 1950s. While on his way to celebrate Spring Day, Bergoglio passed by a church to go for confession and was inspired by a priest. He then studied at the Archdiocesan Seminary Immaculada Concepción Seminary in Villa Devoto Buenos Aires, and after 3 years entered the Society of Jesus as a novice on the 11th of March in 1958. As a Jesuit novice, he studied the humanities in Santiago, Chile. After his novitiate, Bergoglio officially became the Jesuit on the 12th of March in 1960s when he made the religious profession of the initial perpetual vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience of a member of the order. In 1960, Bergoglio obtained a licentiate in philosophy from Colegio Mezino di San Jose. He then taught literature at the Colegio Immaculada Concepción, a high school in Santa Fe, from 1964 to 1965. In 1966, he taught the same courses at Colegio del Salvador in Buenos Aires. In 1967, Bergoglio began his theology studies at Facultad de Filosofía. On 13th of December in 1969, he was ordained a priest by Archbishop Ramon Jose Cataleno. He served as a master of novices for the province there and became a professor of theology. Bergoglio completed his final stage at Alcalá de Henares, Spain, and he took final vows as a Jesuit, including fourth vow of obedience to missioning by Pope on 22nd of April in 1997. In 1973, to 1986, Bergoglio was named the Provincial Superior of the Society of Jesus in Argentina that July for a 6-year term which ended in 1997. In 1993, he made pilgrimage to Jerusalem, but his stay was shortened by the outbreak of Yom Kippur War. After the completion of his term of office, he was named in 1980s director of the Philosophical Theology Faculty of San Miguel, where he had studied. After taking up his new appointment, he spent the first 3 months of 1980 in Ireland to learn English and stayed at the Jesuit Center by Milltown Institute of Theology and Philosophy. He became a Metropolitan Archbishop after Carrasino's death on 28th of February 1998. As an Archbishop, he established new parishes, restructured the Archdiocese, led pro-life efforts, and formed a commission on divorces. One of Bergoglio's major initiatives as an archbishop was to increase the church's presence in the shantytown slums of Buenos Aires. Under his leadership, the number of priests assigned to work in the shantytowns doubled, and he visited them himself. His work led him being referred to as the Villero Bishop, sometimes translated as the Slum Bishop. Early in his tenure as Archbishop, Bergoglio sold the Archbishop's bank shares and moved its accounts to regular international banks. He's ended the church's high-spending habits, which had nearly led to the bankruptcy, and enforced strict official discipline. On 6th of December 1998, while remaining Archbishop of Buenos Aires, Bergoglio was named ordinary for Eastern Catholics in Argentina who lacked a prelate of their own church. On Bergoglio's election to the papacy, Major Archbishop Shevchak said that Bergoglio undertook the liturgy rites and the spirituality of Shevchak's Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church and always took care of our church in Argentina's ordinary. In 2000, Bergoglio was the only church official to reconcile with Germano Podesta, a former bishop who had been suspended as a priest opposing the Argentina Revolution military as Argentina Revolutionary Military Dictatorship in 1972. He also defended the Podesta's wife from Vatican attacks on their marriage. That same year, Bergoglio said the Argentina Catholic Church needed to put on garments of public penancy for the sins committed during the years of the dictatorship in 1970s during the Dirty War. Bergoglio regularly celebrated his Holy Thursday foot washing rituals in jails, hospitals, retirement homes, and slums. Bergoglio continued to be the Archbishop of Buenos Aires after his elevation to the cardinalate in 2001. In 2007, after Pope Benedict introduced new rules for pre-Vatican II liturgical forms, Bergoglio established a weekly Mass in the extraordinary form of the Roman Rites. On 8th of November 2025, Bergoglio was elected the President of the Vatican Episcopal Conference for a 3-year term from 2005 to 2008 and re-elected on the 11th of 2008. He remained a member of that commission's permanent governing body, the president of its committee for the Pontifical Catholic University of Argentina, and a member of its liturgy committee for the care of shrines. While head of his Argentina Catholic Bishops' Conference, Bergoglio issued a collective apology for his church's failure to protect people from junta during the Dirty War. When he turned 75 in December 2011, Bergoglio submitted his resignation as Archbishop of Buenos Aires to Pope Benedict as required by canon law. As he had no court junta archbishop, he stayed in office waiting for the Vatican to appoint a replacement. As a bishop, he was no longer subject to his Jesuit superior. From then on, he no longer visited Jesuit houses and was in virtual estrangement for the Jesuits until after his election as a pope. On 21st of February in 2001, Pope John Paul II made Archbishop Bergoglio a cardinal, assigning him the title of Cardinal Priest of San Roberto Bellarmino. Bergoglio was installed there on 14th of October. During his trip to Rome for the ceremony, he and his sister Maria Elena visited their father's hometown in northern Italy. As Cardinal, Bergoglio was appointed to 5 administrative positions in Roman Curia. He was a member of Congregation for Divine Worship and the Discipline of the Sacraments, the Congregation for Clarity, the Congregation for Institutes of Consecrated Life and the Societies of Apostolic Life, the Pontifical Council for the Family, and the Commission of Latin America. Later that year, when the Cardinal Edward Egner returned to New York following the September 11th attack, Bergoglio replaced him as a lector in the Synod of Bishops. Cardinal Bergoglio was known for his personal humility, doctrine conservatism, and commitment to social justice. His simple lifestyle, which included living in a small apartment rather than elegant bishop's residence, using public transportation, and cooking his own meals, enhanced his reputation for humility. He limited his time in Rome to lightening visits. After Pope John Paul II died on the 2nd of April in 2005, Bergoglio attended his funeral and was considered one of the papabile for succession to the papacy. He participated as a cardinal lector in the 2005 papal conclave that elected Pope Benedict. As a cardinal, Bergoglio was associated Communal Liberation, a Catholic evangelical lay movement of the type known as Associations of the Faithful. He sometimes made appearances at the annual gatherings known as the Rimini meeting held during late summer months in Italy. Bergoglio became the Catholic Pope in 2013 until his death in 2025. In our next story, we shall look at his journey as a Pope.